Ladies and gentlemen, President Bola Tinubu, breaking news, has sacked all his service chiefs. Everybody holding top military positions in this country has been sacked with immediate effect. Do you know what is immediate effect? As you hear the news, carry your bag and go home. You know, it doesn't go this school, never play school fee. If you hear your name, that's exactly what he did today. He sacked all. Chief of Naval Staff, sack. Chief of Army Staff, sack. Chief of Defense Staff, sack. Chief of Air Force, sack. The only person where he leave, just one person. Now I leave. Let me take you through this news. Because the reason when they tell us, say that I make us sack them. Now they are reason with that. The reason when they suspect, say that I make us sack them is different. But first and foremost, let's go to the news professionally. According to Nairametrics, President Bola Tinubu has sacked several top military officials in a major reshuffle aimed at strengthening Nigeria's national security architecture. That is his reason when he writes for a book. The disclosure was contained in a statement by Sunday Diary, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communication. The changes take immediate effect. As you hear your name, carry your bag and go home. General Olufemi Oluyede has been appointed as the new Chief of Defense Staff. He put Yoruba border for top. Replacing General Christopher Musa, who was an Hausa. Major General W. Shuaibu was named Chief of Army Staff. Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke is the new Chief of Air Staff. And Rear Admiral Idi Abbas takes over as Chief of Naval Staff. Chief of Defense Intelligence Major General E.A.P. Ujendeye retains his position. That's the only person with no sack. President Bola Tinubu has made changes in the hierarchy of the service chiefs in furtherance of the efforts of the federal government of Nigeria to strengthen the nation's national security architecture. The president appointed General Olufemi Oluyede to replace General Christopher Musa as the new Chief of Defense Staff. The new Chief of Army Staff is Major General W. Shuaibu. Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke is the new Chief of Air Staff, while Rear Admiral I. Abbas is the new Chief of Naval Staff. Chief of Defense Intelligence Major General E.A.P. Ujendeye retains his position, the statement read in part. President Tinubu expressed his profound administration to the outgoing Chief of Defense Staff and all the service chiefs for their dedicated service and leadership. It tasked the newly appointed officials with upholding the confidence placed on them by strengthening professionalism, vigilance, and teamwork across the armed forces. Hey, say that to strengthen the nation's national security architecture. I mean, you know, Your Excellency, Tinubu is a good politician. He might not be a good president, but you see, politics give out to her. And also, say anybody for this country, since the day Nigeria started, and also say anybody for this country played politics like this man. Apart from the former late Musa Yar'Adua, not the brother who be the first one who entered jail. Apart from that one, who if you follow and drag who play politics where nobody play politics with Tinubu again. He don't hear. He don't look at, he don't calculate, he don't, everybody outside. As you hear him, he's called Oba Lojiji. He hits them, go by surprise. They don't know. Everybody outside. Only people boys that I can trust. Even the people where they appoint, if I should say those ones too, no. It's politics. He don't hear. That thing, when they cancel Independence Day military parade, he don't hear. He don't hear. That thing, when they arrest people. Say they reach professionalism. He don't hear. When I don't the president is a smart man. You see, when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was the president, he brought somebody he does not know to become INEC chairman. For a president, that guy called a player like this. He live and there. This was exactly what he would have done. Retire that guy from his sleep. He will just sleep all year. Say, no, they wake up, go office. He go wake up now to go office with the problem. You live and there. You see what they're doing now? Now people always have play politics like this. Everybody go home. And funny enough, Nigerians will not protest against it. Because we like it. The chief service chief before they never get what they do. Every day they'll burn somebody for yellow water, they'll do this, they'll do that. This new one, so they call everybody will sit tight. You use one stone, keep to bed. Everybody go expect themselves because if you do anything, if you wake up in the morning, you know get work. Everywhere in our country has been infiltrated by bandits, including the military. And you are watching. Make a move, Your Excellency. Nice one. At least you sure. Say they don't think I'm more you for. Anyway, I just got close. I'm breaking news. They don't sack people. He sack. Like, you know, the former chief of the first time now, Usama, he come out affairs, help with brother. When you know.
You see, it is most and quite unfortunate how what they used to support is now what they deploy every means to fight against. Protest has become haram, have become an abomination to those who once led us in protest. It's very, very sad, very, very unfortunate. They were democratic when they were in the opposition by approving protest, but now they are in power, protest is no longer accepted. Let me show us a tweet by the current president of Nigeria. And this was a tweet he made on the 29th of November 2013. That's what I'm displaying here right now, and I read. This was during a protest in the Jonathan's regime in 2013. This was Bola Ahmed Tinubu speaking to the Nigerian police force. He said, police, do not attack protesters. Your children are involved. Your lives are involved. Your children's future lies here. This was Tinubu himself speaking to the Nigerian police at that time to let the protesters have their way. But today, when you protest, you've committed treason. The DSS, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian army, the Nigerian Air Force, immigration, and the federal road safety will be sent after you like you've committed treason. They arrest you. As we speak now, people are being arrested daily for either attempting to protest or for involving on a protest. Moyele Sowore has become a regular customer of that. Every now and then, so many other persons. Who are these people cramping down on protesters? Same people who were leaders of protest in the past. Very, very sad and unfortunate. Now, let me go to the word of Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. What he said about cramping down on protesters. He said, this is Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso talking, and I quote, he said, if murdering and abducting protesters is democracy, then I don't want it. That is Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. He said, if cramping down, if murdering, adopting protesters is democracy, then it's not needed. Tell me, how is the Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime has been democratic when it comes to protest? Everybody in APC today were all leaders of protest in their various ways in their time when they were in the opposition. But today, they call for the heads of protesters and they still got support from even the people. It is very sad. Very, very sad. I will be leaving us with a video of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Everything he said then, everything he criticized, everything he stood against is 100% what he has become and even worse. And they still do not want us to talk. Are we having a country? Are we really democratic? Of course we are not. We are very far from being democratic. But before I proceed, I think I would like to bring you that video so that you will carefully listen. Maybe for those of you that may not have seen it before, carefully listen to everything Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be saying himself as an opposition under Goodluck Jonathan in 2013. In fact, watch the video.
To make things better for us, they make it better for themselves, for their comfort and their families. Cronyism is prevailing. Today, our rulers in Abuja and across some of their states, you know what they say to us when they remove subsidy and we say no. Hunger is increasing, they say so what? Unemployment is a cause, they say yes, we know. Why are the people hungry? Is then let them face death. That is what is in Abuja of today. The current way of governance make nation building impossible. What it does, it makes poverty and the erosion of just society inevitable. we have gathered at this hour in this place to put an end to the national corruption and corruption. We have assembled here today to bring a new day and a new Nigeria to our people. Today, the Nigerian people are decent and hardworking people. They are equally long suffering. They tolerate for too long. Just because they are long suffering does not mean they should be forced to suffer until death comes. We, our people, we've had enough of excuses. Our people have had enough of having nothing. The current government's trademark is to throw empty words and hold action at our problem, as if doing nothing will cause our troubles to live for sheer boredom. Unemployment increases. Industrialization, we have nothing. Refinery, nothing is working. Electricity, they lie. If this is the government of, if this is the government's idea of transformation, and we have none of it, we should not have any of it. Because before, we say the government of slow motion. Now, it is the government of no motion at all. If they want to stand still at the bus stop or train station and be stagnated without poverty, they have the right to do so. And we have our right to kick them out. Not enough that they are stealing from our children tomorrow for lack of investment in education. They are still embezzling the retirement benefit of hardworking Nigeria, including our grandfathers. They are stealing the port, the treasury, not even leaving some coins for us to war with. Let them be out. Out.
Let APC be out come 2027. Because that was what Bola Ahmed Tinubu said then to Jonathan's administration. We sure that was democratic, right? Now, if you listen to him and you heard him very well, the most crucial part of every of that statement was the way he started, the things he said. Those are things he's absolutely guilty of today. He said they make things better for themselves. He was accusing Jonathan's regime. He said they make things better for themselves, say for their comfort, and he referred to that as cronyism. That is his English. Now look at the government of Tinubu today, who are in charge. It's a family affair, 100%. Making things better and comfortable for him, his family, and his closest ally. That's all. And you expect Nigerians not to protest against you. You expect Nigerians not to kick you out. Of course, APC and Tinubu deserve to be kicked out. And by trying to do this, I say this to the Nigerian police, to the entire Nigerian security agency, to the law enforcement agency, and in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's own voice, on the 29th of November 2013, I repeat this word: stop shooting at our protesters. Your life, your children are involved. Your lives are involved. Your children's future lies with it. Stop attacking protesters in defense of these people who has frustrated the vast majority of Nigerians. This is what they fought against. This is what they taught us to do, and they cannot fight against us doing it today. No way. We know our rights, and we will definitely exercise it. Stop cramping down on protesters. It is undemocratic, and it is not called for.
I'm going to, honestly, one of the things I said to myself was I was going to reduce the amount of complaint and the decadence I see in this country and focus on the positive part, doing the little I can, helping people and, doing all that. But I think there's a level it gets to where you can no longer keep quiet. And for this particular topic that I'm about to address, it has been disturbing me so much that I can't sleep. I wake up, it's in my mind. I just got off the shower. It was just there in the shower with me. And if I don't get this out, the way it always lays in my spirit, I feel I'm committing a capital sin. When a child begins to steal meat from the mother's pot, and the mother catching the child does very little in terms of punishment, or showing the child this is the consequences of this, what the mother is doing is that the mother is breeding a hardened criminal that will eventually grow up and even destroy her own life, or become a national disgrace to the family. We have a constitution that governs this country. And I don't see why when it is time to execute that constitution, we are not as vocal as we should be. The Bible says, who builds a house without first counting the cost? This might come from a positive light, but also, who commits a crime? Anybody that you see commit a crime has already in his heart made up his mind, if this thing casts, this will be my fate. So I do not see why the capital punishment for kidnapping is death. And some of these kidnappers are caught. And yes, they are caught. Some of them get caught. I will give credit to the Nigerian police, at least to that point. I have information that some of them get caught. We don't hear anything. Whether they are being imprisoned or whether they are being executed or whether, we don't hear anything. I think that the same way this thing makes round social media, when caught should make round social media. And if you ask me, there should be a dedicated channel, just like Big Brother Nigeria, that is dedicated to catching some of these people that do these things and are shown public execution. They are publicly executed. Children can go to bed. It's past their bedtime. It's not for children. Put parental control on it. Because until we start executing consequences to certain actions, we cannot see the results. We want to copy China. We want to be like China, but we don't have the balls that China has. The punishment for kidnapping in China is death. The punishment for corruption in China is death. Oh, you think they don't have animalistic behavior? People that behave anyhow. You think they don't have it? It is the consequences of every action that puts a society in check. So the kidnap rate has gone high. The reason is not because the police is not doing much. It's because the ones that are seeing what is going on and how these kidnappers are buying things on themselves and living life feels it's a lucrative business, because that's one that entered inside prison. He's out in a couple of months. So I can go into it. If they can show their colleagues being executed on TV, watch how that thing will drop. This has nothing to do with church. There's a place for morality. There's a place for people to change and give their life to Christ. This is not part of those places, because our job should be to uphold the constitution of this. Even in the midst of the 12 disciples, there was a criminal, and the law caught up with him. I am begging, if it is possible, and this has nothing to do with human rights, stay clear, human rights. Anytime you kidnap somebody, do you know that you have actually eyed the person? You've killed the person, even though the person is still alive. That is why it is not the same penalty now. It's not the same weight that stealing carries with kidnapping. Because stealing, you can take something that belongs to somebody. In the person's absence, no life was hurt, no life was threatened. You can do 5 years. There is a punishment for that. But when it's armed robbery or kidnapping, it's heavier. Because when human lives are involved, I have not seen one person that was kidnapped and recovered and came back and became the same. Go and ask. The trauma stays with them to their last breath. So how come we are seeing these things? Okay, look at the picture of this girl has been in my head for days. The little girl, the young girl that kidnapped, she's in prison. You can sense fear. I watched that video and I weep. Because that could be anybody. That could be my sister. That could be my child. And it's even a girl that does not have anything. The parents does not have any money. Look at the fear on that girl's face. If by the grace of God that girl is released tomorrow, you think that girl will be the same? She's traumatized for life. And these people that are caught should not be let go scot-free. Not in the law should uphold when it comes to this issue called kidnapping. And let us watch how this thing will drop drastically. What are we doing? It's not my words, it's the Constitution. The penalty for kidnapping in this country, the Constitution says that is execution. Why have we not seen it on TV? Why have we not even heard or seen it on the blog? The same thing camera does. If a criminal enters a place and sees that there is camera, he holds it because he knows that that camera is checkmating. That is what the law does. That is what Constitution does. That is why China is the way it is. I was in China the other day for a business trip. My interpreter left my bag that had my passport in the lobby. I was panicking. I was like, oh, my everything was there. The Chinese, they were looking at me weird. Even the interpreter was a Nigerian that lives there. They were looking at me like, what is wrong with you? I said, you left. They could have stolen it. They said they don't steal in China. They were looking at me. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't know human beings. They said, yes. All of them, which I had money in, I said yes, but they don't steal in China. The person went, collected my bag and gave it to me. Everything was intact. Because the penalty for that is either 20 years in prison or life imprisonment. Begin to implement the consequences of certain actions that some people behave in this country, and you see how the place will change. This is not about social media. Until we begin to uphold these constitutions, we will not see the change. There's nobody safe. And it's like this is affecting almost the poor people. Have you noticed that most people that are being kidnapped on the heavier capacity are people that don't even have the money? Until this is addressed, it's all talk. It's content. We are not serious. If we must begin to see change, we have to start taking our lives seriously. We have to start taking the Constitution seriously. We have to start taking the things that it says. Even the Bible itself has its own laws. But until then, we are joking.